Hello friends, welcome back, and if you are new to our channel, thank you for stopping by. Now today's video is very interesting as I will be using all the leftover yarns that are with me. I thought instead of just having it here and there, I thought I should utilize it. So we will be using our scrap yarns, the little leftovers, to make something beautiful. And this is going to be interesting as we are going to make tiny granny squares. So let us begin. Here we make a slip knot, and the hook size that I am using is 2.5 mm. Now after making a slip knot, we are going to make a chain of 3. That's done. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to slip stitch into the very first chain space so that a tiny ring is formed. That's done. Now I chain 1 and I am going to go right into the ring and make a single crochet. That's my first single crochet. This is my second. Second single crochet is done. Now this is going to be the third one, the fourth one, that's the fifth single crochet, the sixth. Now I'm going to do the seventh single crochet, and finally the eighth single crochet. So our 8 single crochets are done. If we count, we will have 8 such chains. After that we are going to slip stitch into the very first chain space, and then I'm going to chain 1 and snip off the yarn. So our very first step of the project is done. Now I'm going to introduce a different yarn. Let's start off again with a slip knot, and here I am going to introduce my new yarn into any of the chain spaces. 8 chain space we have, you can introduce it anywhere, and then I am going to make a chain of 3. 1, 2 and 3. Now yarn over. I am going to work a double crochet, but that is going to be half done. In the same chain space, see, this is half done double crochet. Again yarn over into the same chain space, again a half done double crochets, yarn over into the chain space, pull up a loop, and now once we have 4 stitches, yarn over, pull through. Now chain 2, 1, 2. So the first petal is done. Now I'm going to jump into the next chain space or the second chain space and similarly work 4 number of half done double crochet. This is the first one. Now again working the half done double crochet, that's the second, yarn over, that's the third half done double crochet, yarn over, that's the fourth half done double crochet. Once that is done, now what I'm going to do is yarn over. If you count, we have 5 stitches and pull through. Now chain 2, 1 and 2. Similarly we are going to work in the same fashion in all the chain spaces that is left. 2 we have already worked, so we have 6 number of chain spaces left where we are going to make similar petals. Now these tiny granny squares are so interesting to work, and you can use these granny squares in any of your projects, for cushion covers, bags, baby blankets, throws, anything. And I'll be using this granny squares, tiny granny squares, to make a pouch which can be used to carry important things, or we can also carry our cosmetics. You can say, suppose you're traveling for a day, then you can carry the little cosmetics that are required: lipstick, eye pencils, hand cream, etc., perfume. It's handy. So here I am still working the petals, or this particular pouch can be used as a pencil pouch as well, or it can be used for storing our crochet hooks, needles, etc. Now here I am working the half done double crochets in my last chain space. That's the third one. Now yarn over, that's the fourth half done double crochet. So if we count, we have 5 loops. Yarn over, pull through all, then chain 2. Now please watch carefully. We are going to slip stitch into the topmost chain of the very first petal. So the two ends are attached. Then chain 1, and then I'm going to snip off the yarn. So this is how it looks right now. Now I'll be attaching a different colored yarn. So here with a slip knot, I am going to attach it to any of the chain 2 spaces. Once it is attached, I am going to chain 5. Please remember, it's chain 5. After that, into the same chain space, I am going to make 3 number of double crochet. That's the first one. The second double crochet in the same chain space, and this is the third double crochet. Once that is done, now we are going to hop into the next chain 2 space, and there I am going to work half double crochet. The first one is done. Again yarn over and then pull through. The second half double crochet, and this is the third half double crochet. Now again I'm going to work the corner where we are going to work 3 double crochet. First, this is the second and the third double crochet. After that I am going to chain 2 so that we can get a perfect corner, which is followed by 3 double crochet again. So our very first complete corner is done. This corner is incomplete because 2 more double crochets are to be added to make it complete. So now let's move on to the next chain 2 space where we are going to work 3 number of half double crochet. That's the second and third. Now let's work the corner again, 3 number of double crochet, chain 2, and again 3 number of double crochet. One, this is the second double crochet and the third. Now let's move on to the next chain 2 space where I am going to work 3 number of half double crochet. That's the second, this is the third. Now let's work a corner again, 3 number of double crochet, after that a chain of 2, one, 2, again 3 number of double crochet. So here we get another perfect corner. Now then we move on to the next chain 2 space, where we are going to work 3 number of half double crochet. That's the first one. Yarn over, and then again yarn over, pull through all the 3 stitches. So the third half double crochet is also done. Now the interesting part, we are going to the very first half done corner. We already have 3 double crochet and a chain of 5, so there we are going to work our first double crochet, and this is the second double crochet. After that I am going to slip stitch into the third chain of the chain of 5. 1 2 3 4 3. On the third chain I am going to slip stitch. So here we get a complete corner. So we have 3 double crochet plus chain of 2 and 3 double crochet. So the 5 chain has been divided into 1 double crochet and a chain of 2. So here our little granny square is done, and I have a huge number of granny squares that I have already worked. And for this pouch I'll be using 5 granny squares in each row, and I will be having 3 rows, so we will be having 5 3s are 15 granny squares on each side. Now I am going to sew them together. Very simple, using the tapestry needle. Now 2 granny squares we are going to pick, and then the right side should face each other, and then we are going to simply sew it together. Simple as that. What we need to do is we are going to pass the tapestry needle through the chains of both the granny squares so that the stitching is perfect. It is a very simple process. We all know how it is to be done, and if you all are a fresher, then please see how it is to be done. The tension is to be kept normal while stitching. So in the similar manner we are going to stitch all our tiny granny squares. We are going to attach them together one by one. Not to panic, I'll show you how it is to be done. Now the color combination, you have to see which color looks good beside which color. That way you can set your granny squares so that it looks bright and beautiful. So here the first set of granny squares has been stitched. Now I'll take the next 2 and then again stitch them in the similar fashion. See, I think green will look better with this orange one. So now let us sew it together again. I already have the yarn attached to my previous granny square, so simply I am going to start sewing in this fashion, one by one. So by now I think you all have understood how the stitching is to be done. The right sides of the granny squares are to face each other. Now if you use this tiny granny squares for making a cushion cover, that is also going to look beautiful. And I also have plans of making a colorful cushion cover in future, so that I can utilize my scrap yarn also, as well as it is going to make a statement piece. So here my second set of granny square has been stitched. This way we are going to continue stitching. So I'll catch up with you after I have stitched some more of it. So here another set of stitching complete. So here, this is how it looks after the 5 set of stitching is done. Now still more to stitch. I am stitching actually the final row again. So this is how it looks. Now I'm going to attach all of it. See, all of it has been attached, it has been sewed. Now I am going to sew it lengthwise. I'm just going to sew it in the similar fashion till all of the sets are attached with one another. So I'll catch up with you once I have finished sewing it. Actually there is nothing much to show because we will be sewing the granny squares in the same manner as I showed you earlier till all of it are well attached. So here it is, finally all stitched, neat and tidy. I have stitched 15 granny squares for each side. Both the sides are ready. Now I am going to sew the sides together. So with the tapestry needle again, we are going to place the right side of the granny squares facing each other and then start sewing from one side. Sewing is also easy. It is to be done in the same manner, nothing different. We are just going to sew it on all the three sides. We must remember to tuck the starting point of the yarn or the thread so that it is perfectly secured, so that it doesn't open in future. So here I am tucking it as I sew along. So I'll catch up with you once I have completed the sides. So here I'm still sewing. It takes quite a long time because it has to be sewed perfectly, keeping the tension normal. This is how it looks. Finally, I have completed stitching. Now I am going to turn it inside out so that the right side is outside, and let's make the corners. Let's push it outside. See how nice it is looking, bright and colorful. Now I'm going to show you what next we must do. Oh my god, it's looking so nice. Now let's select the yarn that we are going to use to make the border. Actually the edges are raw, so we are just going to give a neat finish to it. So here I have planned to use the yellow yarn, and from the point where we have stitched the granny square, from that point we are going to attach the yarn with the help of a slip knot, and there I chained one. After that, in the same space I am going to work a single crochet to secure it properly. After that, it's very simple. We are just going to work half double crochet in each of the chain spaces. Very simple, just working half double crochets in each of the chain spaces or the gaps, the corner gaps that we have. So here it is. I am working half double crochet on the chain space. Now again yarn over, passing the hook through the chain space, yarn over, pull through all. So this way we need to work all around. Not at all tough. See, yarn over, the hook goes into the space, yarn over, pull through all. That's the half double crochet. So that is all we must do so that we get a neat finish. And in the similar sequence we are going to work all around our pouch. So see, now it looks neat. and much better than how it was looking earlier. If you carefully watch what is to be done, you will see that it is not at all tough. Yarn over, the hook goes into the chain space, we pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. All that is all we must do. So let us continue working in the same fashion, and I am going to catch up with you once I am done working all around. So here I am quite near to the finishing point, and see, that's the point where we had started. So what we do is we are just going to slip stitch into it, and then we are going to chain one before we snip off the yarn. So here it is. Now I'm going to show you how a zip is to be attached to this beautiful pouch. See how nice it is looking. Now for stitching the zip, we need a normal needle and thread, and here I am threading the needle, and then I'm going to show you what is to be done next. We'll tie a knot on the thread, and now this is the point where I am going to stitch so that the zip does not just slip out of it, because if it does, then it will be of no use. So to secure it, to be on the safer side, I am going to stitch at a point so that the zip is locked, so that it will not be able to slip out of the chain. After that is done, now I'm going to place it into the pouch, and simply we are going to stitch it. In my earlier videos also, pencil pouch, etc., I have shown you numerous times how the zip is to be attached. So here I am showing you once again. It's very simple. We just need to stitch in regular interval using a needle which is long enough so that we can hold the needle properly. And now simply we are just going to sew the zip to our pouch. That is all we must do. We must remember to keep the stitches even. It should be of the same size. Very simple, not at all complicated. Now you will be able to view it better. I have zoomed in. See, it's just simple run stitch that we are using. So all across we are going to stitch in the similar fashion. The zip that I got in the market is much longer than the size that I required, so I'm going to chop some portion of it, and then I am going to tuck the zip into the pouch and then stitch it so that it is well secured, so that it does not come off when the zip is in use later on. One thing we must be careful while stitching the zip is that the two ends has to be stitched very carefully, because those are the points from where the zip is going to tear off in future. So those ends we are going to secure it properly. If required, we are going to stitch it a number of times so that it is well secured. So here I am almost done with this end. Now we are going to continue stitching. It's going to be the simple run stitch again. we are going to stitch it in the similar fashion how we stitch the other side. Now this end also I am going to secure it properly so that it does not open in future. We are going to sew this point a number of times. So here, now here it is almost complete. After that I am going to pass the needle into the pouch and then I am going to snip off the thread. So stitching of the zip to our pouch is also complete. See how nice it is looking. A beautiful pouch which can be used for different purpose. And the pattern, the granny square, these are the small granny squares. I have not worked with such small granny squares earlier, but it's looking very nice, and you can use these granny squares in your other projects as well. So my dear friends, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Do use this beautiful pattern for your future projects and I'm sure you're going to love it. It's very easy to work, and the best part is it can be used in numerous different projects. So my dear friends, thank you for staying till the end. If you have liked the video, do give a thumbs up, share it with your friends and family members. If you are new to our channel, do consider subscribing and stay tuned for interesting videos. So till we meet again, be happy, be safe, and keep watching Plants Crochet Cooking and more.